SummerSlam, yeah, party of the summer. What's your favorite match? Mine's King Mabel versus Diesel because I hate myself. No, but seriously though, it's the Oddities versus Kai and Tai. No, but seriously though, it's Lex Luger versus Yokozuna. No, but seriously though, it's The Undertaker versus Giant Gonzalez. No, but seriously though, it's a stink-face match between the Cat and Terry Runnels. That one's actually true. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and here are the 10 best SummerSlam matches ever. Number 10, Rey Mysterio versus Kurt Angle. You there, boy. What day is this? Why, it's Christmas Day, sir. And you there, boy. Who's that jumping out the sky? It's R.E.Y. Mysterio. Here we go. I don't know what that was. SummerSlam 2002, which is the best one? Yeah? That show began with not just the best SummerSlam opener of all time, but probably one of the best pay-per-view opening matches ever. Rey Mysterio made his pay-per-view debut against Kurt Angle, and from the opening bell when Mysterio bamboozled Kurt from behind, the action was fast, fluid, and just so goddamn delightful. Proof, if proof be needed, that stars can be made with a loss. Ray may have tapped out in his first big WWE match, but with his performance, he immediately made himself a force to be reckoned with. Number 9, Daniel Bryan versus John Cena. And speaking of small guys making big statements, Daniel Bryan was hotter than the sun's stolen car in the summer of 2013. Team Hell No had come to an end with Bryan emerging from the weak link storyline with all the momentum in the world. WWE seemed to be listening to the crowd, naming Bryan as John Cena's chosen competitor at SummerSlam. Even though it was heavily rumored that Cena was off for elbow surgery soon, people thought, they're not really gonna put the belt on Bryan, are they? Well, they bloody well did, although briefly. After a very good technical matchup featuring callbacks to the first televised match the two ever had on Velocity 10 years ago, and bolstered by Bryan's uncanny popularity, Mr. Yes Movement put Cena away with the first use of the flying knee to win his first WWE title. Then betrayal happened, which led to some good matches and some questionable ones, but let none of the authority badness take away from how damn good Bryan versus Cena was. Number 8, Triple H versus The Rock. In 1998, Triple H and The Rock were poised on the brink of superstardom. Triple H was the charismatic leader of DX, The Rock was the charismatic leader of the Nation of Domination. The two factions had a feud with some great moments like DX parodying the Nation, although maybe X-Pac's blackface seems a bit these days. The in-ring highlight of the gang war, however, was this ladder match at SummerSlam with Triple H battling The Rock for his Intercontinental Championship. Intercontinental ladder matches tend to be good, proof, and this was no exception. Even though it's more savage than flippy, it's a clash between two future legends providing one last fantastic moment in the mid-card before venturing to the main event. Number 7, Steve Austin versus Kurt Angle. The Rattlesnake's heel turn was a curious beast. It sort of worked because Steve Austin's great and really went for it. It also sort of didn't because people didn't really want it. However, it did produce some belters in the ring. The two-man power trip taking on Benoit and Jericho when they took on the Brothers of Destruction at Backlash, and this WWE Championship match pitting face Kurt Angle versus heel Stone Cold, if you can wrap your tiny mind around that concept. The two men threw themselves at each other with a chaotic mix of German suplexes, multiple stunners, ankle locks, Angle bleeding like a stuck pig. Now this ranks a little low because it ended with a DQ after Austin went mental on a bunch of refs, but the 20 minutes that led up to that slightly disappointing ending were absolutely crotch-quiveringly brilliant. Number 6, Bret Hart versus Owen Hart. Brother versus brother in a steel cage. It's really good though. The Bret versus Owen story lasted a good year, and it was a good year. Owen's turn at the Rumble 94 was awesome, their match at Mania 10 was great, and this ranks as one of the greatest cage matches in WWF history. The two acclaimed technicians not only dazzle with their grappling, but use the cage to add maximum drama to the match, not only with a bunch of close calls when it comes to escapes, but also a crunchy superplex from the top of the cage. Then a family brawl after the match ends. It's just a really nice thing. Number 5, Razor versus HBK. At SummerSlam 1995, the bad one, we saw Ladder Match 2, Electric Boogaloo. 16 months after their WrestleMania 10 classic, Ramon and Michaels took to the hardware once more to save a pay-per-view that was frankly a bit. Two ladders came into play this time, and screw you if you think that's not exciting. 1995 was a rough year, and this is goddamn bliss in comparison. Did it top the original? Well, you tell me. Or don't. I don't care. But it's a worthy successor to their Mania match, featuring two of the finest athletes of WWE's new generation, especially Michaels moonsaulting off ladders before it was cool. Number 4, Brock Lesnar versus CM Punk. The Beast has a pretty fine record at SummerSlam, not necessarily wins and losses, although that's a respectable 4-2, more in terms of match quality. He tends to put on good bouts at the biggest party of the summer. Brock vs Undertaker was great with a bad finish. Brock vs Cena was a glorified squash but wonderfully bizarre. Brock vs Kurt Angle was a damn fine match and one of the best rivalries ever. Triple H, The Rock, he puts on good matches, but this one tops them all. The Best versus The Beast had not only a brilliant dynamic of unstoppable juggernaut versus mercurial technician in CM Punk, but the build also featured the two best talkers in the company, Punk and Heyman. doing what they do best. Also, it featured Brock putting a bit of the announce table on Punk and jumping on it, which is great. Number 3, Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect. The Intercontinental title is where the good matches live. It's the Workhorse Championship, where the men capable of shouldering 20-minute technical marvels provide the meat to go with the fancy sauce of spectacle and the like. The baby carrots being the ring announcers. Oh, off. Two of the finest workhorses in the company, Mr. Perfect and Bret Hart, battled it out at SummerSlam 1991 in a classic, made all the more impressive considering that Perfect was working with an injured back at the time. The two men went back and forth for nearly 20 minutes of joy before Hart countered a leg drop from Perfect, turned it into a sharpshooter for his first singles title win. Number 2, Triple H versus Shawn Michaels. The unsanctioned street fight between Triple H and Shawn Michaels is goddamn lovely. It's also a little bit of a miracle. After all, 4 years previously, Shawn had been sidelined with what appeared to be a career-ending back injury. Also, he was a strung-out, emotionally crippled mess. When he returned in 2002, he'd not only buried his demons, but somehow he was just as good in the ring as he'd ever been, and in jeans at that. Like, that should not happen. But still, for half an hour, the two real-life bezies smacked the red jacket out of each other, and it was damn brilliant violence. Maybe the finest hardcore match in WWE history. Maybe. Unless you count the Hell in a Cell one as hardcore. Do you? Do you? Number 1, Bret Hart versus the British Bulldog. Look, I'm English. And it's not even that. It's great, alright? It's not just the in-ring action that makes it a great match, although this has plenty of that. Sometimes all the factors come together to make a classic. At Wembley Stadium, 80,000 people lost all trace of British reservation and went proper Yankee mental to see their local hero, the British Bulldog, overcome the odds. It was the main event on home turf, it was for the belt, and Bulldog was going up against Bret Hart, who is the person that you want to be wrestling in a high-stakes environment. It's lightning in a bottle. The right victory in the right place at the right time, and the match that preceded it was a rowdy, technical beauty. Again, and it's been said loads, especially on this channel, the noise that the crowd makes when Bulldog pins Hart, you can't top it. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Tell us about it in the comments, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter here. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and I'll see you soon.